The following Toku Podcastu contains spoilers from both past and present Tokusatsu, anime, manga, movies and other related media. If you do not wish to be spoiled, we suggest turning off the podcast now. Otherwise, please enjoy the show.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Toku Podcast, the best show about Tokusatsu you've probably never heard of. As always, I am AJ, that's Jay.
I am the strongest.
And once again, we are the only ones who gave a shit enough to watch the whole series.
Yeah.
For this, it's mostly called being horribly bored, and also having literally no social life. So there you go.
That also helps. Yes.
So, what are we reviewing today? If you can't actually read titles because you are from a foreign country and you accidentally stumbled upon this, in which case, konnichiwa, or I don't know how to say hi in other languages. Hola. Gewalt? No, that's not that. But anyways, so today we are going to review the entire series of Kamen Rider Blade. Now, this is going to be really interesting because when I first saw this show, it was when fucking the only subs out there was TV Nihon. And if you've ever seen the TV Nihon subs for Kamen Rider Blade, if you've ever seen those subs,
Blade's old TVN subs are borderline incomprehensible at points.
Oh yeah.
Like, it goes beyond, like, this is a bad translation, and this is like a machine translated a machine translation. It
almost reaches crab sticks.
Borderline. Like, there is
borderline crab sticks.
Like, it reaches the point where, like, it ends up with a completely different plot than the actual show. It's wrong.
Pretty bad.
It's really bad.
So, luckily, thanks to our good old-fashioned buddies at X-Side Subs, wink wink, shameless plug, we weren't paid for this, trust me, they don't have money for this. But anyways, plug for them. That's true. I am expecting that check in the mail, X-Side Subs, so, time's ticking. Anyways, so anyways, how long ago did they actually finish it? It wasn't that long ago.
It was the end of last year they finished it. They did it all last year instead of doing a build, so.
Wow. Which is good. I mean, honestly, that's fine by me. We had, two other people doing build at the time, so.
Pretty much.
So before anything, I just want to talk about the weird little history behind the subs. I know this is really, this is weird starting off with that, but trust me, the subs for this series have gone through a fucking roller coaster.
Oh, it really has, and it's a nice little story. I think we can go into that.
So, let's start with, TV Nihon. TV Nihon, as we said, borderline crab sticks. Then there was Turnip Scrubs. They basically, what they tried to do was kind of fix it. It wasn't a rework. It was more, just took the subs and they kind of cleaned them up.
Well, that's what a scrub job is. So when it comes to fan subbing, there's subbing and then there's what's called scrubbing, where scrubbing is you take a pre-existing translation, whether it be from some DVD somewhere or an official source or, I don't know, some bootleg or whatever, and you presumably have a better grasp of the origin language than whoever did the original subs, so you kind of compare what you can and figure it out from there, because it's faster than doing a whole new translation, and it might not be something you're able to do as a full translation there. So,
I mean, to be fair, the person who translated it originally probably got all of their knowledge from French. So,
well, considering Takanoko is a half-deaf Malaysian man who barely understands Japanese as is, that's not surprising to me. But no, yeah, Turnip Scrubs was done by this guy. I think he went by Ragnarok. He kind of got started in the fan subbing group by doing he was a proud veteran of the Sub-Goku Wars. We'll get into that. I'm sure you already know the story. We've talked about that. So that was kind of his...
Did we talk about that during Gaim?
I think we kind of gave like a very vague overview of it.
Oh, jeez. The Sub Goku Wars are... That could be like a whole fucking novel.
That'd be worth like a fun little like mini episode.
Oh, yeah.
But no, yeah. He was kind of... He was one of the many people doing Gaim, basically. And so, after a while, he was like, you know what, fuck this, I'm going to do something that matters. And he decided to do Blade. And he ended up finishing, at least, mixed it together with the Blu-ray. I think it was the Blu-ray. I don't remember if the Blu-rays were out at the time, but higher quality, like the full 60 frame per second RAWs there. You know, back this was, of course, back when they still filmed it in 60 frames per second.
We'll get into that, yeah.
Yeah. And then he kind of disappeared. If I remember the story correctly, he had, like, college or something. What happened to that? And he just kind of...
Yeah, it was a weird thing where he had started it, then he disappeared, had college, came back, and then he sporadically updated until he was actually done.
Yeah.
And I think a little bit after that, not too long. Again, the turn-ups... Actually, no, I think he finished during Ghost, didn't he? Or before X8?
He finished before X8 was a thing, if I'm remembering my story correctly, yeah.
Well, no, I'm saying before X8 premiered.
No, that's what I meant. He finished before X8 subs was a group, so...
Okay, so... Because that's what I was thinking. Like, that kind of fits with what I thought, because I do remember him finishing a little bit before that, and then I think, after X8 had ended, I don't know what crawled up their ass to like do Blade, but they kind of just said, like, fuck it, we'll do Blade. We'll just.
I mean, I'd prefer Blade over fucking like Kabuto or whatever the fuck, Hibiki. I mean, Hibiki kind of still needs decent subs.
Hibiki needs subs that don't make me want to shoot myself.
Well, Hibiki just in general needs...
Blade was at least funny. Hibiki was actually insulting at a point.
Oh, boy. Man. You kids, you new kids in this group, you don't know how bad it used to be. You don't know.
I'm not joking. Like...
Even like 3 or 4 years ago, it still used to be fucking awful.
Like... It's weird to say, but I have seen 2 variations of "You damn kids," and that's because I came into the fandom with TV Nihon subs along the same time where like I was reading JoJo's Part 4 with the fucking Dwang subs.
Koichi
and guys,
really
let me just tell you this right now.
No dignity.
Let me just tell you this right now, guys. The Dwang subs might be funny out of context, but if you're trying to read that shit, it will blow your fucking mind.
There's a reason why people only post the like 3 or 4 screen caps of Dwayne, because the rest of it is literally incomprehensible. And it's not even like it's not even funny confusing. It's just confusing.
It's so bad. But yeah, so X-Site had the Blade Buck crawl up them, or the Blade Undead, as they say. But whatever. They had that little bug in them, and they just did it, and I think they did it pretty fucking fast, though. Like, they did a pretty fast job.
They pretty much did it throughout 2018 there, so they kind of wrapped it up near the end of the year, but they were pretty consistently releasing it from the end of X8 up to the end of last year.
So yeah. So it's interesting because I mean I'm glad they did it, because without these subs, I don't think I would have actually cared to do this episode, because I don't think we would have even understood what the fuck was going on.
No, probably not.
Like I don't want to like make it any like sound like I'm bashing on Ragnarok, but let's be honest, even with the scrubbing job, those subs are still just bad.
No, yeah, like that's the problem when you're doing like we're looking at scrub jobs. There's that you can it's the old adage of polishing a turd, where you can put as much effort into it as what you want, but you started with shit and you're never gonna get anything else than shit.
Yeah, so so I'm glad that they had this.
At least we can
I don't
agree
know-
that they're better than Yongo's scrubs for fucking Kabuto. God
Oh
damn.
my fuck! Oh, you mean the scrubs that he fucking gave up on?
He didn't even know. They weren't even scrubs. He just fucking took TV Nihon subs and put better fonts. Actually, we're still talking about this, aren't we? Huh?
One of these days, we're gonna do an entire like mini episode on just like the shit that subtitles do, like subbing groups have done.
Oh man, I
'Cause there's a
can't
lot of really
wait to
good
get into like
subgroups.
a discussion about sub ninjing. Oh my god, that shit always.
There's a
pisses me
lot
off.
of good subgroups out there, but there's also a lot of shit ones. Usually by one guy.
It's usually the one guy. Yeah.
Hi, Magenta.
Is Magenta still alive? I think he might have killed himself.
I think he doesn't. He doesn't kill himself, Jay. Remember, he's localizing it, so he went to the Shadow Realm.
Oh my god.
Just watch. We're gonna be the assholes who actually gets an email from him.
Oh my god, wouldn't that be great? It's like he fucking like he's
comes
been
back just to get
gone for
pissed off.
years, and he just the one time he finally comes back and it's us. Oh my god, imagine that.
I would feel honored.
I mean, I would too. I'm like, well, I mean, at least you listened to us. You bothered coming back to fucking message us. You know, it's hate mail, but it's something.
You know what they say? All mail is good mail.
Yeah.
So, anyways, as
Brief
the
tangent
episode would
aside.
suggest, yes, we're talking about Blade.
Yeah. So, and I guess
you know,
sorry to cut you off. I was gonna say the weird story behind the subbing is almost kind of like it fits with some of the behind the scenes stuff, because Blade is mostly well known for the very heavy, extensive retooling it got in its second half there, where
actually that's something I'm gonna bring up. Funny enough, especially when we get to where exactly the retooling is. Now, I don't know if it's just something that I missed or if it's something that I didn't pay attention to, because I mean, I don't know, maybe it's something that went over my head. I didn't notice that much change from the retooling from pre to post. There was some that was there that changed, but not that much. Not to the point where some people had told me it was, because there was somebody who told me that like it's like watching two different shows. In some aspects, yes,
it is,
but
and
in
it isn't,
others it doesn't.
where you can really tell after a point, okay, this is definitely a different writer, but it's not enough where it's like, again, to bring up,
Like Whiplash.
yeah, I mean, I was gonna compare it to the show that came afterwards, Hibiki, where Hibiki is also
That's kind of funny when you think about it, doesn't it? Like Toei had this thing where like they were like just for these two shows where they just changed writers for some reason.
well,
And I don't know if it was because of ratings. I think it was ratings.
well, it was and it wasn't. Well, it depends. So, okay, well, it's similar to Hibiki, where Hibiki had I think the producer and the head writer, I don't remember if it was the same person or both. But basically, the guy who was in charge of the show, much like with Blade, they fired him and replaced him like halfway through the show. And the second half of both shows are radically different in terms of like the plot direction, and well, I guess the primary difference is that Blade ends up being good and Hibiki ended up being Hibiki, but that's because they got
If only they did that nowadays.
oh my god, right? Remember?
Hey Toei, I know it will cost you an extra 200 yen, but fucking fire Ghost Head Writer, you fucking hacks.
See, the problem there is that with both shows there was behind the scenes reasons. With Blade had very, very bad ratings early on. Like,
Oh, I remember hearing about like not only bad ratings, but even like toy sales were just. Oh, then again, this was still during the time where like writer toy sales were still going down. Like
yeah, this was like
so. I don't know if I can really
2004,
blame.
So
I don't know if I
kinda-
can really blame Blade on that.
Yeah, well, also Blade doesn't have too much in really the way of toys, but that's less.
That's
the
true.
point. No, what it means is that I mean, I did a little bit of research and I did some looking. Like, the highest rating Blade got was its first episode, and that was like just barely breaking a 10% rating, and then everything else was like 7s and 6s and stuff like that, and it's like, oh my god, dude.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's why Blade got retooled. Hibiki's was because the producer kept spending too much money and also taking too long to actually make the episodes, as well as along the constant rewrites and the everything else. Not that the show didn't have all of those after that point, but that's neither here nor there.
So,
dude, let's finish the script for the final episode an hour before we're supposed to fucking film it and release it to fucking Toei, right? Brilliant idea.
Lamau. So a lot of you might be listening and thinking, like, what the fuck does that... It kind of helps to understand. It contextualizes a lot of what we're going to say, because even though I did say the rework didn't do too much, there is still a lot in there that you can tell, okay, this changed, and somebody behind the scenes did change.
Yeah, like...
It's super fucking obvious when certain things are changed around. And again, we'll get into it. Because... I forgot what I was going to say, but basically what I was saying was, the reason we're talking about this so much is to contextualize it. So, to help you better understand it, because this isn't like a Deno or a Kuga. Like, even Kuga, like, you would be surprised. Kuga was like one of the smoothest fucking productions ever. Like, it's not like a Deno or a Kuga, or even like a Phase 2 Heisei, like Double or O's, like, where it just went and that was it, like normal.
Well,
like,
O's is a bad example to use there, but
well, I mean in the sense that Blade and Hibiki had more internal politics, not there's a fucking earthquake and tsunami that happened.
Fair enough. Yeah, so really it doesn't affect too much. Like, if you were to watch one episode from the earlier parts of the show and one later on, you might not notice it. I mean, a lot of it has to do with the subtitles there, so some of that might be lost in translation. Like, a lot of the actors still act the same. A lot of their characters are still pretty consistent. Personalities and stuff. The problem is that it's mostly, like, early on, a lot of foreshadowing and, like, plot threads that get brought up and then are never mentioned again. Or, like, oh, this character is implied to be so-and-so, and then they end up either not being important or being something completely different, etc., etc. Stuff like that.
Yeah. So with that being said, I think I think we've already set the stage enough to be able to get into the show. So this is going to be kind of weird because it's kind of hard to think, where do we start with this? Do we want to start with, like, just the way we usually do it, just go into the show exactly? Do we want to go with the characters? Because,
well, I think
again,
we usually do start with the characters, so I guess we could start with the characters there.
Sure.
Kenzaki is
Kenzaki's a fucking idiot, and I love him.
He's the perfect kind of idiot hero, where he's just kind of like, he's not really stupid. He's just kind of like a bit dopey, but he's a good guy. He is kind of like the prototypical hero. He is, I want to help everybody and be nice and blah 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 blah.
He's the type of guy who would accidentally help a robber rob a store.
Honestly, yes, he probably.
And I'm surprised they never did that.
I mean, they kind of did, but that's besides the point.
I guess, but still, like, he's that type of guy. He's that type of really nice guy that you see and you think, yeah, I could see this guy being the hero. I could see this guy being him. Though this does run into one of our rework little changes. His whole motivation for, like, well, I guess semi-motivation, which is his parents dying in front of him. We don't get anything resolution on that, really.
Not really. It gets brought up early on, and then they just kind of, like, they bring it up every now and then. And the thing is, I kind of like that, where it's just like, oh, well, I mean, my parents died and it fucked me up as a kid, so that's why I want to, I couldn't help them, so I want to, help everybody else, so nobody else has to feel like I do.
And I'd be on board with that. The only thing is, like, since they put so much emphasis on it early on, it kind of makes it feel like, all right, well, where's this going? Are we going to find out something about his parents? Is it going to be something related to the undead? Like, what's going on? And then it just kind of becomes more of a... It becomes less of a, this might be important, and more of, this is just what happened to the character. And it's really weird.
Yeah, and honestly, I prefer it that way, where it's, there's no big, they don't pull the thing where it's like, oh, his parents were also members of BOR, the organization.
His parents were jokers.
His parents were undead somehow. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Could you fucking imagine that?
His parents were worms, actually. Oh.
His parents took the appearance of undead and had a child who is also an undead worm.
Oh, fucking Kabuto.
Oh, Kabuto's a great mess.
Oh, man. No, but yeah. Like, I'm glad there's no point where, like, oh, his parents were murdered by undead, even though that doesn't make any fucking sense with the timeline they set up. I'm glad...
Yeah, that's true.
Which, not that would stop a Kamen Rider show, because they do that shit all the time. Again, Kabuto, the undead... the fucking undead... The worms showed up in 1999, but there were somehow worms on the Earth before then, because fuck you.
Look, the timeline in Kabuto's not the worst thing. How about, let's not forget, they fucking copied Tendo's parents, and they copied his mother, and they copied the baby that was inside his mother.
Yeah. Oh,
but enough about that.
I miss when Inoue used to be able to write the shows. Anyway.
01, let's get him on there.
Oh my god, I want him. I was talking about this earlier. I unironically want Inoue to write 01 just for the hell.
That shit. I want that.
Anyways, with Kenzaki. Finish my fucking point. Oh my god, it's gonna be one of these episodes. No, but yeah, I'm glad where they spend so much time building it up early on, where you think, oh, they're gonna do the thing where it's, oh, his parents were killed by so and so, or oh, it turns out they were actually this, or they were connected to that, or blah, blah, blah. No, none of it's
Kotaro
important.
set the habit on fire.
Oh, they were killed by Board because they knew Kenzaki was gonna be super powerful, or whatever the fuck.
They were killed by Tachibana, who tripped while holding a fucking candle. I don't know.
Hey, you know what? Probably. Yeah, no, there's none of that. They were just, oh, well, his parents died, and it fucked him up as a kid, and that's why he wants to be a good guy. We don't need anything more than that. It's much better than, oh, there's the, oh, actually, here's the real twist thing, because that's...
Yeah, and see, the thing is, I like that. I just kind of, of course, in hindsight, because, we didn't know, at the time, I'm pretty sure they didn't know there was going to be a rework. But I do like that it does just become... something that happened to him, something that does motivate him, not a driving force for the series. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's all you need, because Kenzaki as a character, he's simple, but he's simple in the way that he doesn't need to be complex. He is who he is. And the ending of the show, which we'll get into, the ending of the show shows how well that works, especially for a character in a series like this.
Oh my god, yeah.
So I like that. I like the fact that it doesn't shy away from, he's just a good guy. He is a good guy who likes to do good things. It's almost harkening back to Kuga's days, where he is kind of just a good guy who likes doing good things, but they kind of crank it up a little bit more, where it's just no, he wants to literally save everybody.
Yeah, you make a really good point there. It kind of, his backstory reminds me a little bit of O's, even, where, oh, there's this grandiose backstory where he was in this, this fucked up traumatic event, and it really isn't that important beyond this is his backstory here. I mean, granted, with O's, they kind of go into it more, where it's oh, well, his parents did some shady shit, and, birth was there.
And here's this kid
blah,
getting
blah,
hit
blah.
with a fucking Akita missile.
Yeah, fucking...
I will never stop laughing at that shit.
It's... Oh my god, it's such a bad shot. No.
But, yeah, so, with, like I said, with Kenzaki, he is all around, he's a well-rounded character, and I never found myself kind of hating him. There was a few times where I'm just like, Kentucky, you're a fucking idiot. But
there's a couple of times where his overwillingness to help kind of stretches like a believable point. Like, there's this one episode that everybody knows where there's this annoying chick who's like taking advantage of him. It's like, oh, I want you to be my hero. Heroes don't exist, blah 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 blah, and is forcing him to do a bunch of shit. And he's beyond the like a reasonable human being where he's getting like he gets legit fucking pumped full of lead, and he's still trying to help this chick, and she's still being a
at
bitch
a certain
to him.
point. I'd just be like, pump the other bitch full of lead. Fuck
It's
that.
like at some point I'm like, you know what? I'm done with you. Just fucking go home. All right? Yeah.
And yeah, it does reach that a couple of times where I'm just like, Kentucky, I understand this character, but at the same time, he feels too much like, no, anybody else would have just been like, no, fuck you, get the fuck out of here.
No, and it doesn't
Like,
feel
especially with Hajime earlier, like with Hajime, and we'll get into him as well. With Hajime early on, if it was anybody else, Hajime would have gotten he would have gotten fucking wrecked.
No, my God.
Like, legitimately.
But yeah, but the thing is that it still doesn't really feel contrived, or it's like we're doing this for an excuse for like drama or a character moment.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
It still feels genuine that he's acting this way. Beyond it still feels weird because like this man clearly has like no limit as a human being to his patience, but like, okay,
He's a fucking saint.
exactly, yeah, he's a saint, but there's points where like even a saint would be like, okay, you need to stop this shit, cut it out, and he never does.
Pretty much.
But it doesn't feel like contrived or anything.
So I think that's really all we can say about Kanzaki. But now we can move on to everyone's favorite secondary writer, Tachi Bannerson. Have you truly betrayed us? Boro boro doro boro doro. God damn. Look, guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. The acting in like the first 10 episodes is garbage, but it gets so much better.
No, yeah, people always say that. The first like 12 or 13 episodes are awful. The acting is horrendous. It's like fucking. Okay, so there's a reason Blade is popular, and it's because like it's bad, and there's people meme the shit out of it. You know, I'm sure you've heard of Blade memes. You know, we just did one there. Fucking Kenzaki can't like fucking I don't remember his actor's name. Kenzaki like he has this very noticeable lisp throughout most of the show, and the thing is, a lot of like the in jokes and memes don't really translate. So like half of it is, oh, you only understand this joke if you understand like, oh, this is a certain like cultural thing, or it's like, oh, it's funny because he said something weird or whatever, and then the other half is, oh, here's a character acting like a gigantic fucking spaz for no reason. This is hilarious.
Here's Tachibana falling down a fucking mountain.
Literally both of those. Because there's, first of all, his infamous bit in the fucking snow there.
And of course, you know, Tachi Bannerson, have you truly betrayed us?
And he's just like standing there behind the
that.
wall and just like staring. And the fucking...
I'm sorry, but that's one of the funniest fucking things I have ever seen in my life. Like, I know it's supposed to be taken seriously, but like just the way Kenzaki says it and the way just Garen standing there, I'm just like, fuck.
Well, no, yeah, that's why it's funny is because like I was saying there, I kind of like half finished it. Kenzaki's actor has this lisp, and it's noticeable at points, but like when he starts yelling, he is just like, it's fucking gibberish. Literally he's speaking a different language.
It doesn't help that the audio mixing in the first few episodes is garbage.
Oh yeah, no, it's not very good.
So instead of him like yelling and you can actually hear him, it just sounds like.
And you've got all the sound effects and the music playing over too. So
oh my god, the audio mixing in this show's garbage.
Again,
audio mixing is bad when I'm talking about it.
Right. When I'm talking about it, I can't edit for shit.
But yeah, so going back to I almost said Tachi Bannerson.
Dajibana.
So going back to Tachibana, I love this guy. Like, besides the memes, I just love this guy. For some reason, on a lot of these characters in the show, in any other show, in any other place, I would fucking hate them.
No.
But I like Tachibana. Like, he feels like, yeah, if you were in this guy's shoes, you'd be fucking pissed. I'd be pissed. Shit. I'm risking my ass out here to save the fucking world, and you're telling me I'm gonna fucking die? Shit. Of course I'd be mad. Like, I like that. I like that about him, where it feels like, no, you are justified to be fucking pissed. Though, I will say, him being like... Actually, is this the first time that, like, a secondary writer was basically an antagonist this early on? I think Fies did it first, didn't it?
I mean, well, Fies did in the sense that, you know, literally everything is Kai's fault, but he's not, like... The show doesn't really, like, consider him an antagonist, because in no way is fucked up like that. But no, yeah, like, Blade is, well, there's a little bit of in Ryuki, but Ryuki is, well... Yeah, Blade is really the first point where, like, the secondary writer is, like, a villain for most of the show. Granted, he's not a very good villain, and he's not a very smart villain, because he's an idiot, and he kind of turned evil because he didn't, like, understand something right, and he just kind of overreacted because he's like a man-child, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But his character arc does go... It helps, because especially when we get to Mutsuki, which, by the way, fuck that kid. So especially when we get to Mutsuki, it helps because he grows into this guy from, I was Mutsuki. I was this kid. And so he feels personally responsible, and he feels like I can teach him how to not be how I was. And I like that. He grows, like, naturally grows. And all these characters naturally grow. But him and Hajime, again, we'll get into him, they feel like the ones who grew the most. Because, again, Tachibana, he went from this guy who was just fucking angry and hated everybody and fuck you and fuck bored and all this, to, okay, shit, fuck, I was kind of a dick. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I like that.
Yeah, he starts off like, oh, well, the board betrayed me. They lied about my belt destroying me, and I turned into the Incredible
Gordy
Hulk.
Bannerson, have you truly betrayed me?
The belt's destroying my body and turning me into the Incredible Hulk for some reason.
I'm sorry,
that shot always
dude,
makes me
I love
laugh.
that edit. I love that.
It's not even an edit. He literally, like, turns green and then explodes for no fucking reason.
Can I just say that the fucking edits in this show are some of the funniest fucking things in the world? The Photoshop in this show is great.
Oh, you can tell the show was made in 2004 because the digital.
Let's not forget the episode with Hajime and his twin, where they had to fucking green screen the fucker. Oh my god! This was before they figured out that that cameras have a fucking mirror option.
Yeah.
God damn.
Oh man. But
but back to
2004.
Tachi Bannerson.
Yeah, so he spends kind of the first third of the show like this very confused, very stupid villain who's kind of like striking out against the heroes because, oh, but they betrayed me, but I'm still trying to kill the undead, but not for you, but for me. You know, I want my revenge, blah, blah, blah. And he ends up getting, you know, tricked by everybody and betrayed and teaming up with the villains, but not really.
How ironic. The betrayer is the one who's betrayed the most.
Yeah, right? You know, it kind of, you know, he kind of gets a little bit of there where he's got his, like, his kind of girlfriend, not really. The show calls him his calls her his girlfriend, but they, like, I don't think they really knew each other very long, although they had that photo there of them, like, in, like,
well,
college.
From backstory, they'd mentioned that they went not only to high school but college together, and that was from their graduation. And like they seem to have known each other pretty well, because from what she said, he slept at her office like multiple times. And I mean, if she was that cool with it to say, "I'm happy that you're here," I think that's enough to imply something, Because I mean, they even showed them going on a date in one episode. So
Yeah, it's weird because they never really like outright say it until, well, spoil. Everybody already knows the bit until she dies and Tachibana goes on his rampage of revenge. Sayaka.
I mean, that's a weird thing too, because there's technically two couples in this show, and neither time do they expressly like shove it in your face saying they're fucking dating. Which, by the way, that's something I can say right now while we're talking about Tachibana, because I will say this: I like the subtlety in this show in the sense that it doesn't shove things in your face. Like one of the best things is when a writer gets a card. Sometimes they'll do a thing where like when they seal an undead, sometimes they'll do a thing where like they'll close in on the card, but a lot of times, especially like in the 20s, like in the 20s and going on to like to the 30s,
Yeah.
when they seal an undead, they get the card, but it doesn't close in on it, and you just barely see what it is, like from the corner, like from how much they see it, and then they flip the card around so you don't see it. And I like that. I like that sense of mystery because we're so fucking used to, like, every episode of like Build or something like, oh, I have the gorilla one. Look, guys, it's gorilla. Look close up to the gorilla. Like, I miss the days where it's just like, oh shit, what's this? Yeah, well, what the fuck is it? I don't know what it is. Well, we're not gonna tell you till next episode. Keep watching. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's like, there's no real, hey, here's the new toy to buy, kids. Buy it for me, please. And it's none. No, it's just like, oh, we got a new card. Cool, whatever.
Yeah, I like that. I like that feeling because then when you do see them use that new card, it's like, oh shit, that's the card that he got. That's fucking cool. I like that. I like that subtlety. And again, that even translates into some of the little things of in the show, like one of my favorite things. I don't know why I paused there. Like one of my favorite things, and I mentioned it in the chat. I like how they subtly tell you how many undead there are. Like just in case you didn't understand the motif, I like how they tell you how many undead there are by how many riders and how many cards they get. 4 times 13, 52, and I'm like, yeah, that's fucking cool. I like that. That's super cool, and I like that. I like that idea of not telling you, just mentioning it offhand, and you have to put it in your head together.
Yeah, and it helps that they establish a pretty firm number, so there's no, oh well, here's the 13 whatever more undead that we didn't mention that were there the whole time, guys, but we didn't bring them up. There's a little bit of it, but they're special examples mostly.
Well, see, I like that because technically when they do that, they don't count. Like the trials, they're technically undead, but they're man-made, so they don't count. So and I like that because they don't do something like, again, like how they would do now, where it's like, we have destroyed all the smashes. No, there's 3 more. Oh, okay.
No, then there's 3 more after that, or there's this and that.
And now the main villain's a smash.
Oh, well,
everyone smash.
Look at that. We beat all the bugsters. Oh wait, no, here's more of them that we didn't mention. Stuff like that. No.
I've always hated that trope, and I'm glad that it doesn't start here. You know what I mean? I like that. It's just the subtlety of it. I like subtlety in my shows, and writer nowadays is something that it solemnly fucking lacks. But yeah, so keeping with Tachibana, I liked him again. Actually, no, we'll leave the end, basically the end segment for the ending. So let's move on to Aikawa Hajime, the stroppiest motherfucker in the entire planet.
Chalice
and
is
somehow the most spurgy.
Well, it helps when you're not a human. You kind of end up being a weirdo.
So actually, because I was going to mention this, did you notice that they dropped this? They dropped this fucking hard, obviously, but that he had this thing where he was kind of awkwardly trying to be human in certain episodes, but then after the 20s, like not even before the rework, like after the 20s, they just dropped that shit. Like one of my favorite scenes is when we first see Mutsuki after he gets kidnapped, and he runs out of the what's it called, Jakarada,
I believe it's pronounced.
Jakarada. Well, cafe that
the
heroes go to.
the writer hangouts that we have in every season.
Yeah, cafe that the writers go to. Like Mutsuki's running out of the thing, and Hajime's just like, "Oh, thank you." It's like, what the fuck? You're thanking him? What? Like I kind of like that idea of like he's awkwardly trying to be human, and they kind of drop that. And I'm kind of disappointed in that, but they didn't drop it 100% in the sense that they still kept elements. But I don't know. I kind of feel like they could have kept that. Then again, that might have been a bit too comic reliefy, and this show isn't much for comic relief.
No, there's a little bit of it here and there, but it's not very heavy with the comedy.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, isn't it? Like this show isn't much of comic. It takes itself pretty seriously most of the time. Like it's weird, but yeah, I like Hajime. I didn't like him at first. So I was just like, oh, here we go. Here's the stroppy, emo fucking dude who's like, oh, I am a monster. I'm like, okay, whatever. But I grew to like him. I grew to like his awkwardness. I grew to like his arc of basically, well, yeah, I'm an undead, but I don't want to be an undead, which kind of plays into the into the theme of the show of like fighting against fate. I like that theme. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and
especially for a writer show.
Yeah, and then there's a bit of it there too where early in the before the retool you get where oh, he's an undead, which they drop in like the first episode too. Oh, he's an undead, but he doesn't want to be. He kind of wants to be a human. He wants to live with Amane and whatever the hell her mom's name was. I don't even fucking remember.
Amane's mom is her name.
Pretty much. And you get a little bit of that where it's, oh, he doesn't really have any. I'm going all over the place. Where yeah, you get a little bit of it. But it's not like it's kind of his character arc there almost, and then around the halfway point, they don't focus on it too much. Where he's still like, I just want to be a normal person. I want to be a human, but there's not a whole lot of like the comedically serious. Oh, this is not how a person would react moments. Where he's just
it's very much like how I guess it's the most realistic way of a monster learning to become human. And again, like you said, like it's not played for laughs. It's played like, no, this guy really wants to not be a fucking undead. He does not want to be a monster, And I love that idea. And again, once we get to the ending, we'll talk about that more, like why that's so important. Like I like that idea of he's trying to fight against who he is. And I don't remember the last time we've actually had somebody like that. I mean, maybe Chase in Drive?
Chase
really.
Kind of, but his was mostly played for laughs, so.
Chase was mostly, I'm just gonna cuck go. That was his character.
Pretty much.
Get mad, drive babies. Anyways, but yeah, I liked Hajime. I liked his whole thing where he is just, he wants to be something more. And again, you would think like, oh, it's going to turn out to be a twist where he just wanted to eat them, or he wanted to kill them after a while or something. And no, not really. They never showed off any ulterior motives, and I like that. He's just that. That's what he is.
Well, there seemed to be a little bit of early on where, oh, he's living with them because he kind of accidentally got their, Amane's dad killed for vague reasons, so there's a little bit of it there, but it's not really that major at all.
Yeah, but that's not like exactly ulterior motives. That's more like, well, I was put in this situation, so now I'm legitimately just going to try and make the best of it, even though it's a really shitty situation. And again, that goes back to the exact same theme, fighting against fate. Like, you were put in a fucking horrible situation, but goddamn, you're doing your best with it, and I fucking appreciate that. It's a very interesting message for writer to actually use, and I know we'd like to talk about like messages into writers, like because that's what every story has, and I like that because it's actually a pretty good thing to teach kids, especially at a young age. It's like shit happens, but don't let that shit make you a shit person. That's how it goes. I like that.
Yeah.
And I think they use Hajime as the main focal point of that message, and it's great because even up to the end, like he legitimately stayed as, no, I want to be human, and I like that.
Yeah, and it helps. There's a little bit of where they change it from, oh, this is my own genuine feelings, to they kind of drop near the end where it's a lot of it stemmed from, well that's more spoilerly stuff, but a lot of it stems from, oh, he was a normal undead until so and so happened, and that's where it kind of led to him wanting to become a human. And that's kind of, as he realizes, if I become a human, this thing won't happen, and everybody.
I mean, to be fair, you can say the spoiler, because I mean, we'll talk about the ending.
Basically
like,
speaking, early on, Hajime is just kind of an undead. He's just some guy. He has his rider form is kind of like an undead form, and it's not really acknowledged, and they all kind of treat him that way. And then after the retool, they start dropping hints that, oh, maybe he's not totally. I vaguely recall one hint before the retool that, oh, he's not actually Chalice, or he's not actually human or something like that.
Yeah, they did drop something like that where it's just we know what you actually are. I think they actually said something like that. I think it was one of the undead who said I know who you actually are. I think it was Isaka. Isaka. He's one of the only undead
yeah,
who
the
gets a name.
peacock guy that made
only one who gets a
Tachibana
name.
eat the seaweed for no reason. Yeah. But yeah,
I want to get stronger than fucking take a shower. What? Just take a bath in the seaweed. Okay.
Just eat the seaweed, Tachibana. Just trust me, dude. It's fine.
Just eat the seaweed, Tachibana. You get stronger.
It's not gonna make you evil. I promise. Honest, you can trust me. I'm not an undead or anything,
Even though I totally am. What? Don't worry about it. Just eat it.
Even though I've already shown to you that I am an undead. Fucking. Oh, no, yeah, so. And then they pretty much drop it halfway through. Hajime is the Joker. He is the 53rd undead. He is the special exemption from the whole undead battle thing. We haven't really talked about that too much, where the whole plot of the show is that God got really drunk and decided, you know how I'm going to decide the dominant species? I'm going to create a bunch of monsters and have them fight to death. Because reasons.
It'll be great.
Yeah. It's going to be great.
It's gonna look like the inside of an Anthrocon, but it'll be great.
I mean, it kind of does. But you get a little. God, I'm tired. What was I saying? But yeah, I mean, they dumped the plot there pretty much early on, and then it kind of gets a twist there where, they kind of put the whole undead fight thing on it in its head near the end too, but we'll get more into that. And then there's
they basically tell you what the undead fight for, and they say it pretty early on in the sense that this is what they're fighting for, and the writers are basically trying to stop them from doing that. But of course, it was weird because in the beginning when they started talking about that, there was no real thing where it's well, what happens if the writer wins or something like that? What happens when it's when all the undead go? And they actually explained that after the retooling, what happens then. And I like that. I like how they explain it. Excuse me. But yeah, so before we get into more of the plot, let's talk about our last writer, Mutsuki. He sucks. Let's go on.
Mutsuki is the worst fucking character in the entire show.
Mutsuki was needless. He did not serve a purpose in this show other than we need fourth writer.
Mutsuki is literally a fedora-tipping edgelord who never shuts the fuck up about his problems.
I have darkness inside of me. I need to cut.
Shut the fuck up.
Mutsuki spends literally his entire run on the show, except for the last 5 episodes, either being fucking mind controlled or whining about how, I'm not strong. I don't have a reason to be a hero. I don't have a dead girlfriend.
I come from the darkness.
Which, by the way, that is one of those things they drop. They do drop that thing where it's he had that something traumatic happened to him as a baby, and like he just that's the reason he's so fucked up.
Yeah, they mention it in like a throwaway line. Oh, he just got locked in like a box or something, and he kind of like.
What kind of fucking parents lock their kid in a box?
I don't know. He got like a very blunt like it was just like he was locked in like a crate for a little while by accident by some reason, and then that's about it.
That's why he's so fucked. But yeah, like Muski himself, I just didn't see why. Why was he a thing? Honestly, dude, and I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with me, but he had way more fucking motivation to be one. Why wasn't Kotaro the writer? Why wasn't Kotaro Langle?
Because
I know he's comedic relief, I get that, but he had way more motivation, especially against Hajime. He hated the fucking guy for most of the show.
Oh, well...
And he hated the...
you know what? I mean, if they still made him evil, I could see it, but he wouldn't really work as, like, a good guy, honestly.
What, Langle?
No, Kotaro there. As, like, he wouldn't really work as, like, a good writer. He's kind of too silly to be a writer there, honestly.
Well, at the beginning, like, that's what I'm saying, like, I think they could have done it because they do have a lot of points where he's really concerned, like, no, and it would help, too, because he has this whole arc of, like, well, they drop it, of course, but he has this whole thing of, like, he wants to be respected by Amane, who fucking hates his guts. By the way, fuck Amane. But, like, he hates his guts. And I was thinking, yeah, that could work. Maybe he like, lets, like, you know, the, what was it, the spider undead, like, take over him, the category ace. He likes to take over because, like, oh, shit, well, now I can be the hero that Amane loves. Awesome. Like, I could see that. Because they even said, like, early on, like, he even said himself, like, I wish I could be stronger. I wish I could be something more. I want to be a writer. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I'm like, yeah, why not? Like, he has so much fucking motivation and so much going behind him to do so. Like, again, I understand, like, you know, he was comedic relief from the beginning, but I mean, there's no reason why he couldn't change his character. I mean, I could see that totally.
Honestly,
but then again,
with the alternative being Mutsuki, I agree with you there.
Right? Fucking Mutsuki. Fucking Mutsuki.
Mutsuki literally spends the entire show bitching about how he's supposed to be the most powerful writer, and then does nothing but get jobbed out to literally fucking everybody. The only fights he wins...
Such is the fate of the fourth writer.
The only fights he wins are either when people fucking let him win, or it's against some no-name, low-level fucking undead. Every single fight...
Or when Kenzaki gives him the fucking sword. And even then, he was being helped by Shima.
Even then, he still loses. Every single
he's so
fight.
Useless.
He literally spends the entire show being fucking mind-controlled and whining about how awful and dark he is and blah, blah, blah. You know, and then he still ends up being the biggest bitch on the planet. You know what? You know what he is? He is the prototype version of Michi.
I fucking knew you were gonna say that because I said the exact same fucking thing when I was watching it. I didn't want to say anything, but I was thinking to myself, this motherfucker's Michi. He is what Michi would be. He was what Michi fucking aspired to be.
He is what a good writer would have made Michi become. The only difference
is that he just wanted more power. Michi just wanted some pussy.
Well, also because Michi has a girlfriend. There's that too. Or
Mutsuki has a girlfriend.
I know that's what I meant. Mutsuki actually
has already a girlfriend. Has the coochie. So fuck, you're just making me hate Michi more now?
Well, that and Mutsuki, you know, actually fucking managed to, you know, earn what he gets at the end, and he managed to overcome being a complete fuckhead and ruining everybody's day. And, you know,
hey, by the way, guys, when we're talking about Mutsuki as a better writer, you fucked up. Just saying. You fucked up, famo.
You know things are bad when we're positively
Mutsuki is the better alternative.
Liangle of all characters.
Liangle is the better alternative to fucking Michi. Holy shit. Michi is Diet Liangle. I can't even call him that. He's like Liangle is like Gatorade and Michi's like Propel Water. That's what he is.
Pretty much.
That's. But like in show, like going back to Muski, I understand like his arc, but it went on way too fucking long. Like, I think what was it? He started going evil from like episode what, 15?
Well, pretty much immediately because he gets possessed by the undead.
Well, like as soon as he gets the Liangle Bell, it's like what, 15, episode 15, I believe. I think
15 or 16, yeah, is when he gets.
Yeah, so like 15. His entire arc goes from 15 all the way to like 42. Like that's how long his arc. No, not even 42. It was like 44 or 45. Like it lasted that long, and it did not need to. It could have ended in the fucking 30s, dude. It could have ended in the fucking 20s, and I would have been happy with that. Because all he does, again, like Jay said, all he does is lose, bitch about losing, bitch about wanting more power, and then lose again while bitching. That's his character, and it's like, you can't make a good character like that. He's one of the only things in this show that I legitimately call a negative.
No, my God, yeah. Honestly, genuinely, the worst character in the show.
Besides Amane. I'm just kidding.
Hey.
To be fair, I usually hate little kid bitch characters in shows. Like I just hate them as a default. They're always fucking assholes. Like that one kid from like Gokaiger. Like I hated that kid. But anyways, going on.
Yeah, I mean, well, it helps that she can actually, kind of act. So.
Kinda. Maybe that's why I hated her so much. She did her job too well.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like with Mutsuki, again, it just went on too long, and I wish, again, in a better world, it would have been Kotaro because he had way more motivation. He had way more going for it. And honestly, tell me it wouldn't be emotional to see Kotaro and Hajime beat the shit out of each other at the end, or not even at the end, just like towards the end.
Yeah.
Like that would have been awesome because like at that point, Hajime and Kotaro kind of like they kind of started making up just for them to drop that Joker thing and for them to fight. Fuck yeah, bam. Emotional scene number 566 to break your fucking heart in the show.
Honestly, yeah. It really would have been nice.
But besides that, we'll just talk about the side characters real quick, then we'll get into like everything else. Side characters. Hirose, she is tech wizard. Bam. Kotaro, he drink milk.
He's the
Bam.
milk. He's the milkman.
He's Milky Boy.
His milk is delicious.
Phrasing. I swear to God, I kind of wanted like did this show like have a milk sponsor? They had to have, right?
It's kind of like a generic
sponsored.
Generic label, so I doubt it.
They had to have been sponsored by some sort of milk product. I swear. I mean, then again, this is Rider. I mean, tell me one show in Rider that doesn't have a food product that makes you think, damn, that looks pretty good. I kind of want some now. Like, it happens, man. All the fucking time. Like, just look at fucking, like, Kabuto. Like, that dude, he makes things I wish I could smell. Anyways. Who else? We got Amane. Typical bratty kid character. We have her mom. Doesn't do anything besides go, Amane-chan. That's all she does.
Pretty
really.
much. She gets worried about her daughter and Hajime.
She is worried about little child, and then she is not worried. Who else? We have, and that's pretty much it. Oh, we have the chairman, Karusuma, who kind of just fucks off for like the entire series, and then comes back like towards like the end. Fucking hilarious. And that's really it for side characters. I mean, you have the undead, but nothing really comes of that, really. Like, they're not characters. They're more archetypes for the characters, I guess you would say.
Yeah, they're not really that important, but they're not kind of really characters at all.
So, before we get into super heavy spoiler territory, and I know it's weird saying that because, again, the robotic lady at the beginning says spoilers, but I have to say this now. We're going to talk about just a couple of other things, and then we're gonna get into the real spoiler-heavy territory. Usually, I wouldn't give a shit about saying spoilers,
See,
but with a show like this, I think it's kind of necessary.
it's one of those things where Blade's ending and a lot of like the last third of the show, you really, really need to go in knowing as little as possible.
Yeah, you need to go in blind because, you know what? We'll talk about that. So first off, let's talk about the aesthetic of the show. The aesthetic of the show is fucking amazing. I love this. I love the look of this show. Like everything about it. I love the suits. I love the monsters. I love the way the show is shot. I love the effects. I love everything about it. I said something to the effect of, this is what happens when you give them a budget and someone who knows what to do with that budget. Like, this show started one of the, I swear to God, one of the fucking most amazing tropes in any writer, and they don't do this nearly enough. Broken helmets.
Yeah.
Broken motherfucking helmets are so goddamn cool. We need more of them, dude. We honestly do. Like, I'm surprised, like, we don't have more because they're so damn cool. They're so damn cool. Maybe it's because Toei doesn't want to like break helmets, or they think it's too expensive.
Yeah, I can understand if it's like we're gonna make a broken helmet for a one-time like appearance for one season, and we're never gonna use it again. Like, I can get it, but also like it's so cool. It's so worth it.
To be fair, I think that kind of works in its favor because up to this point we have never seen anything like that. Because Kuga and Agito were both, organic writers. They literally formed into their forms. With Ryuki, I don't think, no, they never did that. They never did it with Ryuki in the sense that I don't think they could because the helmet would just kind of weird. And with Faiz, well, actually they could have done it with Faiz now that I think about it, but I guess they didn't. But again, like, up to this point, we had never seen anything like that. And honest to God, the first time it happened, I fucking marked out. I was like, fuck, that's awesome. That is... Like, I've seen pictures of it before, and I've seen, like, the figure and everything. But, like, watching it blind, well, semi-blind, but watching it here and then, like, just it happening out of nowhere, it's like, oh my fucking God, that's awesome. That is so fucking cool. And again, it goes to not only the suits, the broken helmets. I also like the opening. The way they... Well, I mean, the first opening... We'll get to that. The first opening has
the original opening, so...
The first opening video is pretty nice looking. I kind of like the idea behind it. And then the second one, it's just fucking cool. Come on, it's just cool. Like,
oh, man. Oh,
nobody will ever convince me that Kenzaki punching the glass, basically punching the camera, like broken. Nobody will ever convince me that is not cool. That is fucking awesome. We need that again. More of that, because that is just fucking. I swear to God, I did not skip the opening once it turned into Elements because I just love it. It's so fucking perfect. There's a reason why people love Elements so much. But yeah, so let's see, aesthetic. What we were talking about the aesthetics, because there was something else I wanted to talk about the aesthetic. Oh, again, like the sets. Oh, of course, the sets. You know, remember when Ryder had a budget where they could not only film in the dark, film in different sets, film in restaurants, but film in the rain, motherfuckers.
Film at night.
Twice. And rain at night.
We only get the plastic lawn furniture attack once. We don't even, like other shows, they do it like all the fucking time. No, we only have to see it once.
The what now?
When they bring out the plastic lawn furniture to have the monsters throw around.
Oh, yeah. Like, I don't know. I just love that. Like, when they were fighting, who was it? Was it the King Undead in the rain? I love that shit.
Yeah.
No. Was it the King Undead or was it the Double Undead?
No, it was it was the fucking. Well, we didn't even talk that part where the real big bad of the show there. Where, I guess we're gonna get into that after spoilers, but yeah, that was.
Yeah, we'll get into the spoilers, but yeah, like the whole rain fight where they're just like running around. those suits are probably not very easy to clean. And they did that. They were madmen, and they went for it. And I kind of feel like the director just did that to spite Toei. It's like, Toei said to not film, it's raining, fuck them. Well, doing it anyways. Like, I just love that. Again, I feel like watching a Phase 1 Heisei, especially this early in the Phase 1, I don't know, something about it kind of makes you appreciate it more when you see, like, writers nowadays. Like, and this is nothing to knock on, modern writer. Like, I have a lot of shows that I really like. I like X-Aid, despite its problems. I like the first third of Build, and all that. And, hell, I like Drive. But, like, despite all its, like, problems, I don't know. It feels like writer nowadays is just a little too clean. Like, this one felt, like, gritty. You know what I mean? Not in the sense of, like, Batman versus Superman, but, like, it felt like, yeah, these people are actually beating the shit out of each other. Maybe that's because of so much blood. There's a lot of blood in this fucking show. A lot. Like, a lot more than you expect. Like, people get stabbed. Like, Jay said it earlier, Kenzaki gets fucking shot with bullets. Not lasers, bullets.
There is, like, literal puddles of blood. He gets shot all over the place. It's honestly pretty gross.
It's insane. But again, it's because I don't think we're used to that anymore. Like, yeah, writers still have a little bit of blood and stuff, but, like, we're not used to this amount of violence. And this is, like, this is post Kuga, and Kuga was fucking gnarly with some of its violence. Like, because like, even Blade, like, it toned it down a bit, but it still showed a lot. And I think it goes to show, just like with the broken helmets, I think it goes to show how far blood can take a fight in showing its brutality, and it really does. And I love, again, as I said before, this show is just cool. Like, it's a cool show. The aesthetic, the filming, the fights, it's just cool.
Yeah.
It's like, I fucking love the motif of, playing cards. Like, because I know we had Ryuki with, their Advent decks, but, like, these are just playing cards. Like, I don't know, I like that. I like that whole thing. I like the aesthetic of playing cards. I like spades and queens, and I just like that shit.
Me too.
And of course, the medieval knight type thing, I like that as well. So again, all of it is just awesome, and I don't know. I just think the aesthetic of the show really fucking helps it. And of course, 60 frames per second. I miss that shit so much.
Me too.
I want 60 frames back. Reiwa, bring it back. Actually, to be fair, we might actually get it back, because, I mean, TVs are nowadays are going 60 frames, so who says Japan isn't going to go 60 frames soon? We're going to get it by default, probably.
Maybe.
This was done more as a artistic choice, because they were trying to do it more telenovela at that time.
Yeah.
They stopped that at Hibiki, though.
I think so, yeah.
No, I don't think they did that for Kabuto, which is kind of sad. But anyways. Let's talk about the music, because I like the music a lot. I very much do. As we've already talked about the openings before, you're not a big fan of Brave Blade.
No, it's not very good. I mean, it grew on me a little bit, but the opening, like, sequence itself is just awful. It's boring. It's lame.
But the green text.
But yeah, I know. I fucking read it like 3 times already. On the show. I've read it a million times.
Jay?
I know the bit. It doesn't get, like, unironically good. I can think of the ladders,
you're
and
right.
I can think of her tossing tissues and Hajime playing soccer by himself as many times as I want. It never gets good.
Maybe Italian words there. I
think it's Latin or something. I don't know. Doesn't really matter.
It looks like either Italian or no, not Spanish. If they were Spanish, it would be spelled different. I think they're Italian. Then again, Japan has a hard-on for Italy, so. But yeah, the opening movie is not very good. It's whatever. Like, what the fuck was Kenzaki doing? He kissed an apple that was already bitten into? That was weird.
He was offering you an apple that he had already had. He's
Why are
sharing
we touching that?
the knowledge he's already
Do you know
taken
where that
from.
hand's been, Jay?
No, I don't.
Well, I've seen his video, and I know where it's been. Don't look that up, kids. don't look Kenzaki's special video up. Trust me, you'll be traumatized. You know, I'm kind of surprised we've gone over an hour and we hadn't mentioned that until now. I'm surprised about that. I should pat myself on the back about that.
I was
Anyways.
hoping.
It's unavoidable. But anyways, then we get to the second opening, which very, very good. It's very simple, you know. It's a very simple opening, but it works. It works in the sense that like, it shows all four writers, it shows the actors, and then it shows them being cool. That's all you need. That's all you need, really. But you know, then there's, you know, the insert songs, which everybody knows Karami So. For some reason, everyone says.
Well,
For some reason, everybody says Karami So, which, you know, I know it's a joke, but like, you know.
I mean, okay. So the bit is that what the line is supposed to be is "gotta be strong," but it's really bad English. So he says "karami so," which is a food dish of, if I believe, like, it's spicy, like it's like a spicy curry ramen. So his song is just him talking about like ramen for some
Spicy curry ramen. Look, Jay, I don't want to hear mispronunciation of words after we got Keruberus. Alright? That was some bullshit. That was actual bullshit. You cannot tell me that Japanese people can't pronounce the syllabus. You can't tell me they can't pronounce... They can. This show is fucking with me.
It really is.
Like, it was... Like... I'm not gonna lie. When that first came out, like when he first came out and said Keruberus, I kind of tuned it out because I didn't think that's what he was. I didn't think he was saying Cerebus, and then they say it again, and I'm like, do you guys not actually know how to pronounce Cerebus, or are you really just fucking with me? Because what the hell? Like, it really, you guys are fucking with me. But actually, what else did they? That's kind of weird because I'm thinking back about all the insert songs that I remember. There's only four. There's four because they played Nepu Rider, but it was like for like 5 seconds. They played Kakusei, which I like a lot. Honestly, Kakusei and Take It a Try should have been switched. Take It a Try should have been the first song. Kakusei should have been the ending song, really, like the end fight song. I think so. I don't know. I don't see Take It a Try that great. It's not really that good. For me, at least. I mean, I know it's Ricky, and I love Ricky, but I don't know. It doesn't pack the same punch, you know?
I feel ya. I don't know. I don't necessarily agree.
I need good music. Then we had, of course, Karami So, which is weird because when I went into this, I remembered it being more Garen's theme, but the first time you hear it with fucking Blade, and it's really off-putting.
It's more Jack Form's theme, so.
Did he use it with Jack Form?
A little.
Was that the debut? Oh, I gotta remember that.
I think so.
Oh well, there you go. But yeah, so Karami So, love that song. They played Nepu Rider for like a second. Also, can I just say, Karami, I don't know if they knew that this was fucking funny or not, but do we remember the episode where they were talking about the fucking motorcycle, and like Tachibana is like, "Oh my god, so cool! Is it ready?" And like the dude was like, "Do you want to take it for a drive?" And like, it's comedic timing that Tachibana stares up and you start hearing that fucking song. Right? It is the funniest fucking thing. it's honestly comedy. It's comedy timing. Because he just looks at him and it's just like, carry me so. I'm like, what the fuck? This is great. But yeah, music-wise, great. It's weird because I actually have the soundtrack downloaded. They have a lot more tracks than they use in the actual show, and I don't know why. Like, not vocal tracks. I'm talking about just, like, OST. And I don't know why. I mean, I don't know. It's weird when I see that.
It's a little weird, yeah.
Kenzaki doesn't use his weird, Wanna Be Strong song. Guys, if you ever want to hear an actor just try, look up "Wanna Be Strong" by Ken from Ken. That's Kenzaki's song. Look that up. You'll thank me later. He tries, guys. He really tries. But yeah, I think with that being said, I think we can go into spoiler territory finally.
Yeah, so one of the things I really like about Blade, and one of the things that a lot of shows really don't do, is that the final villain is just kind of some guy. I mean, granted, he's not, just some guy. He's, he's the head of Blade, he's this ultra-rich, powerful dude who's been controlling everything in the shadows and blah, blah, blah. But it's not like he's not really all that connected. He's just kind of there. Like, they don't do the thing. And
even then, he's not really the last villain, really.
Well, he's not the final boss, but he's more or less the big bad, because everybody afterwards is just kind of like, well, there's nobody left, so now it's kind of turning for Hajime to take over the world.
Yeah, I got you.
But that's the thing I liked about Blade, is that it's, we don't have that moment where it's, oh, here's some... final ultra super powerful undead that we didn't mention that shows up when so and so happens. There's
just a complete CGI clusterfuck,
right? There's no all of the other undead and blah blah blah, all of the cards fused into one awful chimera, or Hajime. The one thing
Hajime makes an entire Sentai robot from all 52 undead. Oh no!
No, what I was gonna say is, they don't do the thing where Hajime ends up turning evil and he becomes the real final boss, like they fucking probably would have done.
Yeah, actually, we could talk a little bit about that because now we're in spoiler territory. By the way.
Well, yeah. Let me. Well, that's the thing. And, they never pull the thing where it's like, oh, well, God, the control... They don't pull a Devil Man where it goes, the God's the real villain. God's an asshole. He's the one who set this all up.
They don't pull an Agito where Agito punches Jesus in the face.
No, yeah. So, it's just, the villain is Ultra 7. Okay, whatever. That's cool. Yeah, that's the fun little trivia bit there for you. The final boss, or not the final boss, the big bad of Blade is literally Ultra 7.
I don't know why, but just hearing you say that, it's not that it's untrue. It's just fucking funny.
I mean, it's kind of, I did kind of make that abrupt, but no, yeah, it's like it's Ultra 7's actor, but other than that, he's just some guy. He's kind of not really all that connected to oh, that's right. Well, no, he does get an undead form. His weirdo, like, hybrid undead bullshit. There's this awful shot of him,
he does a Kilroy is here thing.
Yeah, he, like, merges into the body, and it looks really bad.
I'm putting that in the thumbnail, by the way.
Please do. But no, I mean... Other than that, and that's kind of like, I made my own undead, so I can win the undead fight, and
that's weird, because did he actually... Was that something that he made, or was that something that he fused together? Because apparently... Because I was kind of confused about that.
Because was
it made or fused?
There were the custom undead that they had.
The trials,
like,
yes.
The trials. There were, like, the artificial undead that they built to kill the writers for reasons... which end up having intentionally failed because that was kind of his plan all along.
Basically.
Which is a little weird, but when you're, crazy and also rich, you can just do stuff like that.
I was only pretending to lose.
He pulls a Dr. Doom. It's like, I actually won the whole time, guys. This was my plan.
My plan was for you to kick my ass, obviously.
Yeah, but no, they had mentioned early on that like, oh, he had these undead cards that he was just holding on to, and he was fucking around with them, and he made his own like hybrid undead, and then they kicked its ass. It's like, well, I'm gonna shove a fucking card reader into my arm and become like a cyberpunk warrior, and then I'm gonna scan the card, and then that's how I kind of fused with it. It's kind of weird.
It is, especially since it looks like it was literally just duct taped to his arm.
It looked like they don't really like do a close up on it, but like you can see like the wires and shit like hanging out of it and like coming in and out through his arm, but also like you can very clearly see where the prop starts and the prop starts because it's like it's very 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 much lighter than his actual skin, and it's like there's a very obvious seam, so it's alright. Yeah.
Little did we know, injecting a card writer also gives you vitiligo.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So after they basically, I mean, he doesn't even get beaten by he gets beaten by them, but he doesn't get killed by the riders. He gets killed by one of the category kings, which is really interesting.
Yeah, he gets killed.
He gets sliced.
Oh my god, he gets literally cut in half. It's pretty brutal.
It is. It's fucking great. But yeah, so then after that, we actually start getting into like the final phase where like, you know, where we got what do you call it? We got everybody. Actually, no, it was Mutsuki who beat Category King, right? Or was it somebody else?
No, that was Garrett.
Oh no, that was Tachibana. I forgot. No,
yeah.
Who am I thinking of then? Who did he beat? Oh,
no, yeah, they
spider.
unsealed his ace so he could kick its ass, so he would stop being possessed.
So he can stop being a bitch. I'm sorry, he didn't. But anyways, so we start learning a little bit more about what it is, and as we were mentioning before, Joker. So Hajime is a Joker. What a Joker is, and I think you already mentioned this, didn't you?
Yeah, I kind of went into it a little bit where it turns out about halfway through that Hajime is the Joker. You know, he's the 53rd card. He's the 53rd undead. And, well, they don't really explain what exactly the deal with the Joker is, just that the other undead hate him. As it's ultimately revealed is that if he's the last one standing, the whole Earth just gets fucking destroyed. Everyone dies, rocks fall, everyone dies, and it restarts.
And now you hear that, and you think automatically, oh man, it's going to just turn him evil, or he was already evil the whole time. No, it actually takes a really cool twist in the sense that he does start summoning monsters, but not of his own volition. Well, he even says himself
it's
that
not even
he
him, it's like the weird
it.
monolith, God, not God thing. Whatever.
Yeah, like it forces him to do it. And like he even says himself, like, I'm not doing it because I want to. It's literally just being forced out of me. Yeah, and I love that idea because he is the final villain that does not want to be a final villain, and I don't know, that's just really interesting.
And that's kind of like the whole end to his whole character arc there is that, you know, he wanted to become a human because he knew that it would destroy the world, and he's ended up liking humans and he wants to live with them, and that's why he's trying to stop being the Joker there. And admittedly, they ultimately reveal that like a lot of his whole wanting to become a human thing was part of a very like a just as planned moment by one of the human undead who like let himself get beaten and resealed by Chalice or Hajime by the Joker there at the beginning because he knew he would take his human form, and it's like, oh well, now I can fuck with you because I have weirdo psychic powers for some reason that are never explained. But it ends up being like an elaborate like just as planned moment where he entirely wanted him to turn good, and then he ended up turning good.
Yeah, and he really did want to be, you know, a human, and that can lead us into Kenzaki. As I said before, he was somebody who wanted to help someone to a fault, and one of those people was Hajime, because the entire time when he was told Hajime can literally destroy the fucking world, he wanted to find a way to help. He wanted to find a way to save him, and he did. In a way that, honestly, I'm going to say this right now. If he died, I don't think it would have had as much of an impact. I think the way they did it hits harder than if he had died.
Mm-hmm.
like personally, I think so. What he does is he gets king form. As we know now, king form is the final form. I think everyone's seen king form, whether you've watched the show or not. So
Yeah.
he gets king form, and we learned through the show that king form, since he's fusing so well with the undead, he's literally turning into an undead, aka a second Joker.
Which
so what he
is
sorry.
weirdly like unintentionally foreshadowed in like the second episode, because there's this moment where
Yeah.
Hiroshi's dicking around on the computer they got, where they have the thing that lets them track the undead tracker, the machine that tracks the undead for tracking of the undead, you know. And it's like, oh well, what was? It's
For
like, well,
tracking
I
of
figured
said
out the
undead.
password and it was double Joker, and they're like, what the fuck does that mean? It's like I don't know.
Yeah, that was something. That actually caught me off guard when I heard that. I was like, oh shit, what?
And whether that was always intended to be there or that was an idea that the other writer picked up on, we don't really know.
I mean, to be fair, like there's a lot of little things that kind of lead me to like, what the fuck, like little foreshadowing things. I mean, like this one was probably unintentional, but look at that fucking blood stain and tell me what that fucking looks like.
Mm.
It's a big old fucking J on his face. I'm like, you did that on purpose. I swear to God.
Oh,
That like, I don't want to like be fucking conspiracy theorists, but that's a fucking J. Like, that's Joker right there.
I don't even remember when that was. When was that?
That wasn't the last. That was like in the last episode.
Oh yeah.
That was basically
yeah.
they basically labeled. They basically put the label on him. Like, yeah, that's.
Well, I
that's
mean,
what
that
happened.
at that point, that was like the last episode. They already knew that at that point.
Yeah, but like I don't think you knew how it was going to end, and I think that kind of like hinted. Yeah, this is going to happen.
Oh yeah, I mean, we can get into the end there.
But yeah, so as we learn, there is no. As soon as they seal the last undead, because Tachibana-san dies, and then comes back because he got better. Which, by the way, one of the coolest fucking broken helmet scenes in the world. Then they seal Mutsuki's category ace. Oh no, it was category ace and then king. I'm sorry, I'm getting my timeline mixed up. So they seal king. Hajime is the last one. He is the Joker. He is the one. And nothing happened at first, and then big old fucking cockroaches started coming around because of the monolith.
Mm-hmm.
So Kenzaki has an option to seal Hajime away. Therefore, wait. See, I don't think they actually mentioned what would happen if he won, because this is before anything about any undead thing. It's like, what would happen if he had won and he didn't turn into an undead?
Well, what do you mean,
Do we know?
Kenzaki?
Yeah. Like,
Well,
would he have gotten the wish too? Because
no, because he's not an undead, so he doesn't count. Plus, by that
So then
point,
what would happen?
the fight was already over. Like, because the thing is, the reason why I love Blade's ending is because they don't pull the pick a third option, the ass pull, like a lot of shows do.
there's no super happy ending.
No, yeah, they establish you either have to do this, or you can be insane and do this. That would still technically save everybody, but it's gonna be one or the other here. Either
Well, it's
you
funny
have
because up to a point, you didn't actually know that the second option was even viable until the last episode. And
Well,
as we keep, I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say. Well, yeah, that's the thing too. Is that, I mean, they don't even consider that there's a second option. It was Kenzaki's like, dude, there's got to be a second option. I don't want to have to seal Hajime. He's such a cool guy. I get it. He's literally destroying the world right now, and he can't.
But he's a
stop
cool dude. He kills aliens and isn't afraid of anything, man. Come on.
But he's our best friend. Possibly,
Even though he
maybe.
punched me
Even though
multiple times.
Even though in my fucking best of
Flashback
friends
to good memories.
the first memory he thinks of is him getting punched.
I fucking love. I laughed out loud when that happened.
Oh no, yeah, it's actually funny.
It's so good. So the second option that nobody really noticed, and again, as we said, the more he uses king form, the more he turned into an undead. And towards the end, he's starting to use king form on just small fry for no fucking reason. Until we know. Until he starts. I'm sorry.
They don't really point that out. Where they mention it way before the finale, where if you keep using king form one time, you're going to become an undead. And then in like the last couple of episodes, he's just spamming king form, and everybody's like, "Dude,
they kind of do that really strategically, where like they mentioned it when he first got it, and then they kind of don't say anything just to make you forget about that until they bring it up again. That's I don't know if that was intentional or what, but that was really fucking smart.
It kind of feels that way. So and then he's spam, like we mentioned, he's spamming it there on like the literally who mook guys. And they're like,
the black roaches.
Is there something wrong with you, dude? You're going way too strong in these guys.
Are you a fucking spurg?
It's fine. Yeah, because
it's cool, bro.
He's this entire time. He's like, there's got to be a second way we can do this. And then he's kind of like, I might have a way, guys. And they're like, what are you, insane? You have to either seal him or we all die. And he's like,
yeah,
okay.
And it's funny because it's kind of ingenious, honestly, because as we know, if the Joker's the last one standing, well, he wins. But if there's another undead that comes out of fucking nowhere, the war starts all over again.
And that's the thing is that they even think about that. It's like, well, why don't we just unseal another undead, and that way it starts.
Exactly.
And then they even try that. It's like, yeah, it won't work. The fight's already over, guys. I've already won. We can't just start it again. It doesn't work that way. I'm sorry.
Until, again, as we said, Kenzaki and fucking Hajime start fighting, and they just start being the ever-loving shit out of each other while Kenzaki's in king form. And at the very end, Kenzaki doesn't bleed red. He bleeds green. And as we've seen, undead bleed green.
Yeah, he
turns into a fucking Joker.
He turns himself into an undead. And everybody's like, oh my god, you fucking idiot. What are you doing? And he's like, listen, I did what I had to do. I needed to save everybody. And I don't care what the end result was. And Hajime's like, dude, listen, I don't think you thought this through the whole way. Like, we do have to fight now, right? It's like, it's fine, I got it. I'm just gonna disappear. I'm just gonna fuck off. I'm gonna go
somewhere you'll never find me.
I'm gonna go live in like Africa or something. I don't know. I think one of the books mentions he's in Africa or something. You can stay here. You can pretend to be a human. Live your life. Be fun. Have friends with everybody. I'm gonna go live my life out here.
Because technically, they don't really mention it, but it's kind of hinted like Hajime has more family to lose than Kenzaki, because Kenzaki really doesn't have anybody. Like, yeah, he has like Hirose and Kotaro, but like really, he's not really gonna lose anything if he goes away.
No, not really. I mean, he has no real attachments, and that's kind of what his why he's so apprehensive to stopping and sealing Hajime there is like, well, I mean, not only is he like a friend, but there's Amane and there's all these other guys and all this stuff, and it's
there's a weird camaraderie between both of them. I mean, as fellow writers, of course. And it leads to legitimately, honestly, like when he first turned himself into an undead, my heart was just like, oh fuck, and then it leads. Everybody says it. Everybody shows the picture. Everybody memes it up.
Listen,
that motherfucking bench, man.
The bench. Look, let's not. I'm gonna say this now. Let's not talk about the bench.
You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna leave it like that because, honest to God,
you've already heard of the bench scene. You've already seen the bench picture with the anti-homeless bar on it, because that's what it is. It's not a handrest. It's one of those anti-homeless bars. You've seen the picture. If you know the scene, you know the scene. If you don't, you need to watch the show, because knowing the scene ahead of time really lessens the impact of the scene.
I will say this though. The scene itself, and I'll say, and the ending itself, honestly, it didn't make me misty-eyed. It didn't make me depressed. It just left me with this weird fucking feeling of just like, fuck, man. Like it hits you. Like it doesn't make you cry. It doesn't make you sad. It gut punches you in a way that like not many things really do.
it's very heavily bittersweet, where
Oh yeah, because the thing is, like, it starts off. Again, I'm not going into the specifics, but it starts off like you said, sweet, and then it starts off in a sense that it makes it seem like, oh, everything's going back to normal, whatever, and then fuck you, just
yeah,
boom, and honestly, again, like Jay said, I do not want to spoil. Again, it's one of those weird things where it's one of those endings I can't spoil. Like with something like Kuga, you know how it ends. With something like Agito and Deno, we know how that ends. With this, it's one of those things where if you know it, if you know it before, like Jay said, if you know it before, it just won't hit you the same way. And going into this, because again, I went into this like semi-blind because I haven't seen Blade in legitimately over a decade, so I forgot everything. So seeing this scene again in the way that it's done, especially now that I can actually understand the fucking show, it hits you on a whole different level, and it's like that's how you end a fucking show. That's how you show your audience. Sometimes the bad guys lose, and sometimes the good guys lose. This is the point where technically both are true.
and I think the reason it's so effective, and it hits you the right way, is because the show doesn't try, like I mentioned, it doesn't try let's pick a third option out of nowhere where suddenly, we've established that there is literally no other alternative here until there suddenly is. It doesn't it's like with Double, where the show established pretty immediately, we have to do this, and I'm going to die if I do it. Philip. Shotaro, Philip, I'm going to die if we do this. Or we can let everybody else die. And then suddenly at the very end, after, they do it, and Philip dies.
Yeah, it doesn't cop out.
I'm just alive again. Or with fucking...
Yeah, it kind of leads you to believe that they might cop out because, Tachibana didn't actually die. And Mutsuki survived his fucking little thing. They lead you to think that there can be a cop out. There's going to be something that's like, no, there's a third option that can leave everybody happy. No, that I think that's probably the smartest thing they did. They make you believe that there's a cop out only to actually shit on you and be like, no, this is how it goes, bud.
This is reality, kids. You don't get your magic happy ending. No, sometimes the bad ending.
And again, I think it works so well because, as I mentioned before, it works so well because of who it happened to. Because of who it happened to, it works. Because Kanzaki is such a nice guy. He is such a I'll call him how I see it. He is such a writer. He is a Kamen writer to a T.
He is the typical. He is the poster child.
What you think of? What you
think
a
writer should be beyond even the show. Next to the show, he stands as a solid Showa writer. Honestly.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, the ending is something that could be straight out of a fucking Showa.
Oh my god! Yeah,
honest to God, this. I think the best way you could probably say it is Blade is a Showa writer series with a lot of Heisei and modern sensibilities done fucking perfectly. And again, because Kanzaki is such, again, like we said, such a poster boy for what a writer should be, the ending and what happens to him and what happens at the end, again, like we said, it just hits. It just makes you feel... It makes you feel... Not like shit. It makes you just feel like... Damn. That's how the fuck. You kind of just get in shock. Again, I didn't... I'm not saying this to be a tough guy. I'm just saying I didn't cry. I just felt like I got punched. I got punched in the fucking heart. And it works, man. It really does fucking work. I think, honestly, I feel like a lot of people dismiss Blade because of what happened with the subs, and that's one of the biggest reasons why we spent so long talking about them. Because, honest to God, guys, if you watch Blade with the TV Nihon subs or even the scrubs, please, I implore you, go watch this. Go watch it with these subs because it helps and it makes the show so much fucking better.
Yeah, honestly, It really does. This is one of those shows where if you've already seen it, give it a watch again. Now that you can watch it with decent translation and good video quality. And if you haven't, I mean, now's the perfect time to start.
Now that you can watch it without trying to figure out which pixel is Tachibana.
Now you can watch it and you're trying to figure out where the fuck Tachibana's mind control powers went. Because remember,
oh my God.
Because apparently he has mind control powers, and that's why the board chief was evil for an arc and not the fucking undead. Yeah.
but in some like final thoughts for me. Honestly, guys, and this is coming from me. Like, after rewatching it, after actually giving it a super rewatch, after, with the good subs, honestly, dude, this is my top 5. This is my top 5 right now. Like, I would say it's my number 3. Honest to God. It's my number 3 right now. Like, Kuga, Agito, and Blade. That's my top 3 at the moment, because it works. It just works. Because the show has problems. Let's be honest. It does have some problems. It does have the whole 12 episodes of bad acting and weird writing and all that. It has it, yes. But once you get past that, you honestly get one of my favorite fucking shows. Like, I don't know if I mentioned this to you, Jay, when I was like putting my fucking thoughts in the server. Like, there was points where I didn't even want to even like post in the server because I was just glued. I was legitimately glued to my fucking like screen. I was like, no, I need to keep watching.
Oh no,
like, it's great.
I was exactly the same way. I really only stopped because like, oh haha, here's something funny I want to post because I'm that guy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, or like, for work or anything, but like for legitimately, I couldn't stop watching. Like, it's something where it's like, if you sit down, you'll probably end up finishing it and not realizing, oh shit, it's the next day. It's good, man. Like Jay said, if you haven't seen it, just watch it, man. It's legitimately one of the best fucking writer shows like I've ever seen.
It really is. I would probably put it in my top 5. Obviously, there's shows I like more, but those have more. Well, I've gone over that. I'm fucking obsessed with O's, and I think Agito. I do think Agito is still a better show, but Build. What's the show called again? Blade is
Brave.
Blade is better written than Agito, but I think Agito overall is a more solid show in a couple of different departments. But I would definitely say Blade is probably top 5, if not.
Yeah, like I said, for me, like I said, my top 3 is Kuga, Agito, and Blade. Like, Blade is my solid number 3, and I don't think it's gonna be knocked down any fucking time soon because, like, how do you top a show like this? Like, honest to God, like, I love this show so much, especially now with the new subs and everything. I can't. It's great. It's made me a fan for life, and it's weird because going into this, I don't know. Again, I don't know if I mentioned this before because I probably have, but I forgot in the waves of screenshots I've put up. But like I mentioned this before. I don't know if I mentioned, but I'll mention it now. I've kind of been so desensitized to certain like writer shows, like after X8 and after Build and after Zio, it just felt like, ugh. But then being able to go back to Blade, it's like, fuck yeah. This is why I love writers. This right here. If nothing else, take that as my fucking recommendation. But yeah, what are your final thoughts, Jay? Just give some of yours.
I mean, I don't really know how to put it. I've never been that good at that point, but I mean, it's one of the best casts, honestly. Great story, hiccups and all. Music's pretty good. Suits are all really good. They got there's a lot of points where you can tell. You can see the similarities with the suits from like Kabuto and Deno because it's all the same guy, of course. Like Joker Undead looks almost identical to Momotaro's at some points, especially with.
Oh yeah.
He's got like the same mouth.
I mean,
and
there's
eyes.
there's times where you can kind of see like them reusing some helmets from Agito.
Yeah. There's a lot of similarities to a lot of other shows and earlier shows too. It really is probably the best show overall of the pre-decade shows. I like Agito a little bit more, but that's more of a personal opinion.
Yeah, I get you.
It's definitely like top 3 of the Heisei writers in general, honestly.
Honestly, I'm really sad that this show did as bad as it did, because again, it's so good. Like, I don't know. I don't understand. Obviously, how Japan, really works in terms of what they like and what they don't like. I'm not Japanese. I don't understand that type of culture. So maybe to them this is just shit. Maybe to them this is garbage. But to me, like, this is legitimately one of the greatest shows in Toku. And again, I've already given my final thoughts, but legitimately, guys, just go fucking watch it. Just stop listening. Go watch it.
Just watch it already. We're done talking. Just go watch it.
Karamiso.
Karamiso.
All right. So with that being said, let's do this wheel.
Do the wheel, spin the thing. I don't remember my own bit that I was doing.
Spinning wheel. Like a spinning wheel.
Top spin.
With songs about Kiriko, and it's really weird because Go says he wants to fuck her.
We all want to fuck Kiriko for some reason. I don't know why she was boring.
Maybe they're into boring.
Oh, maybe.
Sometimes an exciting guy just needs a little bit of flatness.
Flat is justice.
Okay. All right. Let me just snippy snoo this jippy Jew. The fuck did I just say?
I don't know.
I think I was trying to rhyme snippy snoo with something, and I don't. And
Snippity-doo,
words came out.
Doopity-doo. I don't know.
Doopity-doo, snippy snoo. As you can tell, I'm extremely professional because I use snipping tool.
Exactly.
I don't use.
No, you gotta hit F12 to take a screen. Or no, it's print screen. I don't know why I said it was F12. That's Steam. You hit print screen and then you open MS Paint, and then you erase everything, and then you save it that way.
So I'm gonna just. I just erase everything. Like, just erase the entire wheel and just leave the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me. Oh.
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 Well, this is gonna be easy because it's what, 6 episodes, 12 episodes.
Oh fuck! It's 12 episodes. Fucking finally, yeah.
We're doing Gridman.
Gridman. We're not doing the original yet, but we're doing.
Fuck that! I ain't doing that.
Fuck you. I hope you enjoy being fucking confused watching this show then.
I mean, yeah. I mean, do I have to watch the original to get this? I mean, I think the only thing that I'm kind of missing is like Baby Don Don and the original suit.
Okay, I'll put it like this. There's going to be a lot of stuff that doesn't make too much sense overall if you don't. But at the same time, it's not like super required. It's just going to be like, what the fuck was this thing? Where did this come from? Etc. Etc.
Why is this a thing?
Why does he suddenly have so and so? Stuff like what is this supposed to be? Who is this kind of thing? But at the same time, you can definitely watch through the show without having to watch the original.
Well,
that being said, you're going to probably enjoy it a little bit more if you do it first. But
if it has Baby Don Don, I'll be happy.
Well, I'm not going to spoil.
That's all I need.
I'm not gonna spoil that.
Well, actually, Jay, I was going to say, Just for some fun. Have you watched Ryuki by any chance?
I started watching it recently. I haven't got a chance to actually get into it. I'm only a couple of episodes in.
Man, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you haven't finished it because fuck. We were this close to having to watch an entire fucking series again.
Well, I mean, we're
I
gonna have to
can't-
do that again, but this one's only 10 episodes.
Well, I mean, this is like 12 episodes. It's gonna be easy.
That's true.
I don't think I can handle another 50 episode series right now.
Oh my god, remember when we did Kiva and then, like, what, Den-O, like, immediately afterwards? Oh my god.
See, I at least remembered everything from Kiva and Den-O. I remembered that. Like, I had to rewatch Blade because it's legitimately been a decade since I've seen it.
That's true.
But yeah, with that being said, thank you guys for listening. If you like what you heard, please give us a follow. Give us a comment, rating on iTunes, and whatever Spotify has.
I
don't know.
Give us a spot check on Spotify. I don't fucking know what they call it.
Tell us you like listening on Spotify somehow. I don't know. Send us an email. I don't know.
I don't know.
And if you want to join the server's down below. I should say this like at the beginning, honestly.
Probably.
And next week, as we said, it's gonna be. There's gotta be a better way to fucking say that. Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad Gridman.
It's SSSS.Gridman, which is not any easier to say, so I just say the Gridman anime. It's because I'm not a weirdo.
Gridman.
Scrid.
We have a lot of baby Don, hopefully. So, we'll see you guys.
Eventually.
Maybe.
Probably.
Bye-bye.
Bye.